Hello, hello, hello. I was trying to think of something cooler to start, but I'd be so excited to start the same way every single time. So, hello, happy Monday, or whatever day it is that you are listening to this. So happy that you're here joining me on Carly's Couch. And I'm pretty excited about today's episode topic, which is you listening, you watching, getting out of your own way and what that looks like. Which is pretty interesting, but I had three separate conversations this weekend alone. Actually, like yesterday, I had three separate conversations yesterday about people blocking themselves from showing up how they want to or doing things that they wanted to do. And so I thought it was very poignant for today. So I was looking it up because I felt like Alexi and I had done a few episodes of Getting Out of Your Own Way. And I found episode 359, which is Breaking the Cycle of Self-Sabotage. And I'm sure there are other episodes. But we really should have made it a series, because if it's one thing that humans are great at doing, it's getting in our own way. And it's kind of funny because I feel like for people who work for enlightenment or to get to the next level, like all these things, you really are just working to heal yourself and get out of your own way so that when things come up, you're able to notice them and keep it pushing down your path of alignment. So we'll be talking about that today. But in this cycle of getting out of your own way, in this part of the series, in this episode, it is about a mental block. And I'm going to use a bunch of physical examples. I mean, physical, like your body and thinking about moving your body and things around that. But I want you to think about how this can apply to other areas of your life. If it's your business, if it's your relationship, if it is you doing the stuff you say you want to do for yourself, but you don't find yourself doing it year after year, this goal stays on your list, or it just becomes harder and harder to do the thing. I'm talking to you. Okay. Oh, I should do an ASMR episode. If y'all have any ideas for episodes or guests, please let me know. I'm so excited. We have some amazing guests coming on soon, but today it's just me, so I'll hop on here. Okay. So I love the saying that everybody starts their physical journey thinking it's just physical, but it really is the pathway to the spiritual journey. And I think if you're open to it, that's super true. Like anytime you really create space for yourself where there's no noise, where there's solitude, where there's you pushing through hard things, where there's consistency, there's always God or the universe or whatever you think. I always say that the time that I feel closest to God is when I'm on my yoga mat, when I am pushing through in the last 10 meters before a sprint, like at the end of a sprint or a mile, when I am doing hard things that I thought I could not do. There's no other noise. It's just me and God. And so if you think about any physical journey, it is a journey to yourself. It's very much like yoga. Yoga is not about the asanas or the poses. Yoga is about you learning how to quiet your mind, you learning how to control your thoughts, you learning how to build a system to quiet the monkey chitter chatter and have a peaceful existence. And so thinking about what that can look like for you. But yesterday, there was a big run and I got to see a bunch of people that I love. And then after that, I went and did a workout and then got to see some more friends and some other stuff. But on three separate occasions, I had the same conversation. And so the first one was someone beating themselves up about not performing to their desired level in a competition. And yeah, just being hard on themselves and voicing all the thoughts that came up about not wanting to let people down, feeling like they're not showing up. You know, they work so hard for this thing and feeling like they're not showing up for their best as their best self and da 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 da. But we were talking and it came down to them, like their mindset, like the person that they thought they might have let down was like, I wasn't even thinking about that. And how often does that happen, that we are stressed out about something, we are thinking through things and overthinking things, and everybody else around us is not thinking about that. They are just being present, or they're trying to show up for us, or they're thinking about their own shit. Quite frankly, we think that people think about us more often than they do. And I think that can be a way that we self-sabotage, a way that we get in our own way, is we are putting too much on what other people might or might not be thinking about us and not putting enough attention on how in alignment our own thoughts are. Are our thoughts true? Are they valid? Are they something we agree with? Are they something we want to think? We also think that we cannot control our thoughts, but we can. and they are practiced. And so as hard as it might seem to like break all these negative thought patterns, you can, and you can change your own narrative. The second person that I talked to was talking about how they get in their own head about putting stuff out there to be seen about the physical journey, and the pressure that comes from, like, I don't know, signing up for a big race or trying to win a medal or actually signing up for the competition. Like, that pushes them away, because then there's an expectation, there's something you have to show, and I think also a level of buy-in, but for whatever reason it was pushing them away. And so once they were able to get past that and just show up, they were like, oh wow, this is great. I'm able to create this brave space for myself and not think about all the chatter, all the bullshit, everything else that's going on in the world. I don't have to sign up for this race to feel good. I don't have to do the big things that everybody sees me. I can actually just do it my own way. And how beautiful is that? And looking at the opportunity to continue to build that physical connection with themselves, but also the mental connection that comes from doing the hard things first, doing the hard things without fail, even when it doesn't feel good, especially when it doesn't feel good. And yeah, so that's the second person. So then the third person I talked to was recognizing that they have this mental block in their head about running specifically. They just don't like running. They don't want to do it. But I was like, hey, you don't have to like running, but I think it's important. Heart health is very important. Heart disease is the number one killer of, I believe, Black and brown people. I can go check the statistics, but if it's not the number one killer, it is the top 3. And it's super important that we stay on top of cardio, even if it's not our favorite. If running is not your thing, it doesn't have to be, but maybe biking, maybe skating, maybe ski erg and rowing and Stairmaster, and there's so many millions of ways that we can build HIIT classes, but walking. But there's so many things that we can do besides the things that we hate to force ourselves into a box. However, sometimes we use, oh, I don't like that as a way to shirk away from responsibility or from ever having to face a part of ourselves. And I think that anytime we use that as an excuse, I'm just not good at that, it keeps you from being good at what you want to be good at. And so for me, I have to do things sometimes just to prove to myself that I can do them. Even when it was hard, like when I first started my own running journey, was like in 2012, and I was working construction, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can run for 30 minutes straight. So one day I came home and I was like, hey, I just want to run for 30 minutes straight. I was dying, like sweaty, like in the gym, sweating buckets, struggling, breathing hard. And that really started my own journey. But my goal was for better health, for stress relief, and then just to build up to something that I think I should be able to do. And I was able to do that. But I think it can be very intimidating when you make really big goals, like, oh, I'm gonna run a marathon. Not to say that's not a great thing. Shout out to all you marathoners, especially LA marathoners out there. But start small. Okay, so I guess I'm jumping into the ways to unblock yourself, the ways to get out of your own way when it comes to doing an activity. I'm going to use physical examples, but you can use this same train of thought, the same system to think through whatever it is that you're kind of standing in your own way for. So the first one is to take action. Do the thing, y'all. Just do the thing. Start the website, start the business, hire a team, hire a personal assistant, go run, go do whatever. But do the damn thing. If you want to run, start running, and make the goal to run. Don't make the goal to run a 7-minute mile on your first day. Make the goal to run, and allow yourself to show up and allow that to be enough. Allow the practice to be enough. If the goal is a mile, run a mile, the best mile that you can. If it's 18 minutes, then it's 18 minutes, and that's beautiful. Don't beat yourself up about it. But doing the thing, oftentimes we spend more time thinking about the thing and putting too much pressure and too much weight on doing the thing, doing your taxes, getting your business license, applying to school, changing jobs, moving cities. We spend more time dreading doing the thing, like just dreading it. And then it sits heavy on our heart, but we still don't do it. So what does it look like to build momentum and take action towards something that you want to do? Remember that the goal should be to show up. So when you're thinking about whatever the thing is, don't say, I want to sell 50 t-shirts to start. Say, I want to start my website and I want to spend, an hour a day for 3 weeks doing my thing. I want to go to one farmer's market a month and try to sell, maybe not a farmer's market, maybe a vintage market, whatever your thing is. And then you can start to build up. But what I don't want to happen is you make it so big that it feels unattainable, and then you just stop and you shut down, because that happens a lot to people. The next is to stop beating yourself up. Interrupt those messed up thought patterns. Anytime you notice a thought that is not a good one, like, oh man, I did terrible at that competition, I probably just shouldn't do these competitions anymore. Stop it. And you're like, Carly, but it happens all the time. Yes, I know, because we've allowed it to happen and we practice, and maybe we were taught that, and maybe you heard it. Maybe it's somebody else's voice. Maybe it's something else keeping you from it. It could be your fear of success, your fear of failure. It could be whatever the thing is, like insert reason why we have negative narratives here, all valid, and all I hope we heal, because those negative ways that we talk to ourselves, the things that we say, and the negative thoughts break us down. I think it's like once we get over 35 or 40, 90% of our thoughts are the same. And of that 90% are negative. And it's like, dang, can you imagine how much more we could achieve? Or at the very least, how much better our life would feel if it wasn't always negative in our heads. Okay, great. And ways you can rewrite your thought patterns are you can journal. So when you journal, practice rewriting your narratives. There's a thing going on like TikTok right now talking about rewriting narratives. Joe Dispenza talks about it. There's ways we can rewrite our lives. It's kind of interesting for quantum leaping. You can ask affirming questions to those in your life, like about a situation. Like, for example, if you thought that someone was mad at you for something that happened at work, you can say, hey, I just wanted to check in after that meeting. I felt like I might have stepped on your toes a little bit. How are we? Instead of going home and being like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I can't believe I cut her off in that meeting. She's probably never going to talk to me again, or she's not going to promote me, or whatever the thing is. Just ask the person. And hopefully they love you enough, and you ask in a way where they can affirm you. Definitely check in with yourself first, because if you're always asking other people for affirmation, that might be an issue. You want to ask yourself for affirmation first. But if you're unsure of a situation, or if you're really in your head, you can always ask somebody in the situation, or you can ask your best friend or your therapist. Present them the situation, tell them what happened, ask them their thoughts. And if you did mess up, that's okay too. Revise, apologize, keep it pushing, but don't let it define you. Let's see. So we had take action. Make sure that the goal is showing up, not just performance. Stop beating yourself up. Another way to change your negative narratives are to practice more positive self-talk. Those can be affirmations. You can write them every day. I am so loved. I am so joyful. I am so grateful. You can do your meditations, your breath work, and focus on the positive energy in your life. That's right in alignment with reflection, because there's no growth without reflection. And so taking time to reflect about your day, about how everything is going, about how you're feeling about situations, because feelings are important and they hold a lot of weight and they deserve to be processed, but they're not always facts. Feelings are not always facts. And so you might feel really upset about a situation, and I want you to honor that upsetness and process it and let it go and feel it and let it go, but recognize that that might not be the fact of the situation. Like, you might feel really upset about how something went, and then like, oh man, I didn't get that job, and then find out later that you did. And so just taking time to notice when you're feeling your feelings. How are you feeling? What were you thinking? Also looking at this as a pattern, like if you're looking to spend more time on your own business, if you're a solopreneur and you want to do more business development, I set a goal to show up and do an hour a week, an hour a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I didn't do any of them. Why not? I was really busy. Were you busy, or are you avoiding it for some reason? If so, why? Keep asking yourself the trail of whys to get to like the real root reason. You can talk to a friend, talk to your therapist, assess your feelings, but make sure that you're checking in with yourself, because reflection is important. You can also be real with yourself. And what I mean is going back to my homie who was like, man, I did so terrible that day. They didn't do terrible. There were a lot of extenuating circumstances. As soon as they started telling me the story, I'm like, bro, you didn't set yourself up for success, or the universe didn't set you up for success. So no, I think you did the best you could with what you had in that situation. But for whatever reason, there's that negative narrative about what's going on and why you suck and why you failed and all this. And so I think it's always a good reset to write down like, yes, this physically happened. This is it. A, B, C, not A, oh my God, I'm so terrible. B, I should never do this again. C, I suck at life, like whatever it is. But just noticing when you start embellishing the narratives very negatively and bringing it back to what actually happened and what you can do moving forward. So now you learned, you got a data point. Okay, now I can set myself up for success in the future. I know I always do better when I eat, when I'm able to stretch, when I take more time for recovery, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Practice. We just had a whole beautiful episode on practice last week, making practice the goal, making showing up for yourself the goal, taking the weight off of how something has to look and allowing space for miracles to happen, allowing space for progress to happen, and not putting so much pressure on how you want things to be that you are missing the magic of the moment of where things are and how beautiful they are happening in this moment. Like, I think sometimes we're like, okay, I need all this to look like this, but you are not looking around and recognizing how much more a situation could be. You are not leaving any room for the universe or God or whatever to bless you with abundance or love or a job in a different way if you're always so honed in and focused and set, like tunnel vision on this exact thing. And so just being open to what that can look like for you. Let's see. Lastly, or the last couple is treat yourself like someone that you love. And that was something that my therapist told me maybe a few years ago. And I really try to keep that in mind because showing up is important, but showing up with love, showing up with gratitude for your body and how it performed today, showing up knowing that you are so worth this time you were taking out of your day to love on yourself, to rest, to eat nourishing foods, to do X, Y, and Z. Like, you love yourself so much. You got a business coach. You love yourself so much. You deserve this. You took a walk, to get your head straight before a meeting. Like, making sure that everything you do is with love. Okay, maybe you didn't perform well. That's okay. You know what? I'm going to be honest. I didn't do that great. I did not do my presentation until the night before, and it was terrible. It was a flop. All right, here's what I can do moving forward. Talk to yourself like you would your best friend or your partner when they mess up, when they have bad days. And notice how different the words are. Notice how affirming you are to somebody that you love. Oh, it's okay. You'll do better next time. Yeah, girl, that was wild that you did that, but that is not who you are. That's not typically how you show up. And maybe it is, and maybe you need a little bit of tough love, but you don't have to talk to yourself crazy. So thinking about that, and I think I'm actually just going to end it there. Like, do everything with love, especially anything for yourself. And I hope that these principles help you think through ways and areas in your life where you might be blocking yourself from progress. You might be blocking yourself from doing something that you love. I think that all of these will help you live more intentionally and hopefully help you create a system and a container that is so filled with love and abundance, and is such a brave space that you just want to show up for yourself every single day. So hit me at Carly's Couch on all the platforms. Give me a follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And let me know if you have any questions. I hope y'all have the most amazing love-filled week. Bye, y'all.